Well, the new documentary, Midnight Traveler, is being screened here in the Bay Area. It tells the story of a father who is also a filmmaker who had a bounty put on his head by the Taliban in Afghanistan. And so he begins a journey with his wife and two young daughters as they search for safety and for a home. The documentary was shot over the course of several years and entirely on 3 phones. The film was the winner of the Golden Gate Award at the San Francisco Film Festival. It also received the Special Jury Award at the Sundance Film Festival. And joining us now to talk about it all is producer, editor, writer Emelie Mahdavian. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So I told you this in the break. I watched this documentary. I thought it was absolutely incredible, and then reading the backstory on how it was put together blew my mind even more. So tell me about this, because you have this man who's a filmmaker living this life, raising his family, and then all of a sudden he has this bounty put on his head. How do you get involved in terms of making this story of this journey that took a long time?
So I made my first film in Tajikistan, and I wrote my dissertation on Tajikistan, which is a neighboring country to Afghanistan, and it's where they fled.
They first went for safety
when they found out that this bounty had been put on his head. So we connected very early on, before the film began, and then, as you said, unfortunately, they end up on this insane journey trying to find safety, and so I agreed to collaborate with them and help them make sure that the footage was safe, that it could be brought out into the world as the film we see now.
So as they go on this journey, which takes them through terrifying routes with no known, I mean, you don't know where this is going. It spans several years over some very uncertain conditions. And how is he sending this all back to you?
So what they had were only their phones. They didn't even have laptops. And so they were recording everything on little memory cards and just holding those dear. And then I would find someone in each country who would meet them, and then they would copy all the footage to hard drives and ship them here to me in the U.S.
So at the end, how much video did you have?
About 300 hours.
300 hours. That's amazing, to go down to like 87 minutes, right?
Yeah.
What is remarkable, and watching just some from the trailer, is how, and maybe because he's a filmmaker, right? It has to be because he's a filmmaker.
His wife is too, so they're actually both filmmakers.
So they go through this, and they're showing, they have the presence of mind. There is one point in the film, and there's so much we can't talk about because it takes away from the viewer's experience, and I do not want to do that because it really is this tremendous experience to go through, where he says, I didn't want to film this. And you get the sense of so much that they do film. You see so much that when we're telling the story of asylum seekers, and we're telling the story of different experiences that we don't see because it just hasn't been recorded, and because we can't see the purity and the binding of it.
Well, I mean, because you're a journalist, that as a journalist you have a time crunch. You go in, you're looking for a story, and we've had a lot of that type of reporting on these stories. But what they did is they recorded their lives over years, and they recorded it from the inside of that experience. So it gives us a really different perspective about what it's like, and with a whole family to be on this route.
You also see that because they have two little girls who are adorable, and who I think a lot of people will be able to see their own children in, or see their own experiences. Do you also feel that this is about the immigrant experience, about the asylum experience, but it is also about showing us that maybe there's very few degrees in between us and other people and other cultures, and really few degrees of separation?
Well, I think it's very easy to settle into a position where we feel like, oh, those migrants, there's some people who, of course they're in this position, and we forget that nobody ever expected their life to take that turn. So here you have a family that had a very settled existence and suddenly finds themselves under a death threat and fleeing. And so trying to get that feeling of normalcy, trying to find safety in these insane conditions it's as shocking to them as it is to us when we see it from the outside.
As I watched it, I went through this journey of like laughing with the children, of feeling great fear, of feeling great sadness, I can't imagine for you. Tell me through the years. It was how many years this spanned?
The span of the film is 2 years.
As you receive these SD cards back and these memory cards back, and you're going through it, and you don't know how it's going to end. We're not going to tell people how it ends, but you don't know how it's going to end. Was that how emotional was that for you, knowing this family, knowing what they were seeking, knowing they might not achieve what they were looking for?
Well, we were in contact while they were on the route, so I knew when they would be about to go do something which could be dangerous for them. And it was very frightening because until I heard from them again that things were okay, I didn't know what was going on. And you care about somebody, and there's nothing you can do from that distance to make sure that they're safe, that their kids are safe. It's terrible.
So what do you hope that people walk away from this film with?
Well, I'm hoping that people come and see it and they, first of all, they laugh, they cry, because it's not just a doom and gloom sad story.
No,
the kids
it's not,
are really
yes.
charming and they still have a sense of humor. But I'm hoping that people are able to just clear 87 minutes to sit through the experience, kind of separating the politics, separating the rhetoric right now around migration and asylum seekers, and just be with this family. Because within that experience, I think there's a kind of a common ground that isn't there maybe in the heightened rhetoric we have right now.
Yeah, and when I watched it, it didn't feel like this was about making a statement. It felt like this is the window.
That's what we wanted, because we didn't come in setting out to make a film that made a statement. We were all just friends and filmmakers and who found ourselves in the position of telling this story. So it was about the family, it was about their experience as a family, and not about, you know, coming in from the beginning with
trying to say
message.
something.
Yeah.
You just wanted to show something.
Yeah.
Well, Emelie, it was remarkable. I felt very privileged to be able to watch this before the interview, and really, I thought it was tremendous. So congratulations on some really remarkable work.
Thank you.
And my thoughts are with that family still.
I will tell them.
Yes, please do. Please pass it along. All right, well, The Midnight Traveler is being screened right now at the landmark Shattuck Cinema in Berkeley and at the Opera Plaza Cinema on Van Ness in San Francisco. And Emelie will be at that theater for a question and answer session at those showings tonight at 7 o'clock and tomorrow at 2:15.